wanted to make just a quick tutorial to walk you guys through Brightspace. So let me go to you as a student. Now your Brightspace show won't look so intimidating. I'm just keeping everything open just at the beginning so you can kind of see what all we're doing through the entire class. And then after, let me share my screen. And then after the first week or so, why are you not, pain in the neck. After the first week or so, then we will go just block by block and everything else will be where you can't see it really after the first couple days. All right, so let's look at, here's our Brightspace shell. We're number 11. So I have course home, and this is where your announcements will be, right? This is where your announcements will be. Content is where everything is. Discussions, where you have our discussion boards. And then activity assessments, you have a plagiarism quiz. And this is really, you'll also have, I think that's on the discussion board. Anyway, so content will spell out where everything is at, right? And we're going to go over that in just a second. And then more tools and grades. That's all that you need. So home is where you're going to see announcements. Content is where everything is. Discussions, where we'll have our discussions. And then this is where you turn stuff in. So activities and assignments, that's where you turn in your essays. And then more tools and grades. That's where you're going to find this grade book. All right. So really just these are all that you need. So let's go ahead and go to content. All right. So again, we had my nephew, that's why I'm looking at my phone a lot. We had my nephew is in ICU. Anyway, he went in Friday and he's still in today. And so we kind of had a family emergency this weekend. So I wasn't able to get everything done. And I got most of the stuff done. I just need to update some stuff on this discussion board. So don't worry about this discussion board just yet. They still say, all this. I don't want you to see all that just yet. So I'm still doing the discussion board today and the prompts. So these assignment prompts today. That's all I got. So we're doing okay. So here's the syllabus, right? Here's the syllabus. So you're welcome to open that up. Now at the bottom of the syllabus, you will find something else you can print off if you want. Read over the syllabus. It is really important. But at the bottom of the syllabus, you will find this points sheet, right? So here's a points chart. So here's our our memoir that we keep up with. We have 3 essays, a narrative essay, a literary analysis essay, and an advertisement argument essay. And then we end with the presentation. All right, so that's all that we're doing this semester. And then the other thing, my door schedule. Here's my summer door schedule. I have to update it with my door schedule, which I'm probably not going to take down the syllabus. I'll just put it in announcements or something like that, or just put my door schedule next to the syllabus. But it does have my summer door schedule. I apologize for that. But again, I had most of everything done, mostly ready to go on day 1. But there's the points at the end. You can keep up with your points. You can keep up with, whatever you're working on. You can keep up with your grades using this points chart. And in the grade book, I'm pretty decent at keeping up with the grades, except for maybe your memoir. I kind of stink at keeping up with memoirs, so you kind of have to check. But with essays and all that, I keep up with those pretty decently. All right, let's go to content. So again, assignment prompts, I have all the prompts ready to go only for my 16 weeks class. So all I have to do is take the prompts and change the due dates. So I'll have that done during my office hour right now. So let's say it's, you just got off work, you're writing your narrative essay, and you just got off work and you're writing your narrative essay and you can't find the prompt, or you don't want to go, block 1 narration and try to find the prompt under all this. So you can find them all right here in this handy dandy spot called assignment prompts, and I'll have them here again before the day is out. All right. And then we jump into our narrative. So the next thing I want you to see is that under each one of these blocks, you'll see week 1, week 2, there's block 2. Actually, let's just go to table of contents. There we go. So you'll see block 1, there's week 1, there's week 2. Literary analysis is block 2. There's week 3. So we're just week by week. Now, let's say that you're in week 3 and this all is kind of overwhelming and you're, okay, this is what we're doing this week. We are doing this. So I think I read pages 1 through 9, this week. I think I did all that. So all you have to do is come down to where it says submit. So let's come down. It says, there's the bonus. That's right. That has a little bit extra because that's a bonus. All you do is find this word submit. Did I do this week? Right? So this little submit area, all you have to ask yourself is, did I do that this week? Yes, I did. Okay, I'm good. I submitted my terminology and literary devices discussion board by Monday, September 8th. I got that done. Then you're good. So if you're reading all this and you're like, I read it, but did I do everything that Brightspace says I did that I was supposed to do? All you gotta do is go to this little submit area. Same thing, watch here's week 4. So did I do this? Did I get my memoir Monday? I got my themes, motifs, and tone discussion board, and I turned in my essay. Or I'm almost done with my essay. It's due September 15th, and I'm at the end of, so it's September 11th, and my essay isn't due until Monday the 15th. So I've got everything else done. I got those first 2 things done. So you're probably doing just fine. All right. So that's navigating Brightspace a little bit. Let's talk about, well, what are we going to be doing in this class? What are we going to be working on in this class? I do have a video here, this introduction video. I do have this introduction video here. You're more than welcome to watch it. It's just all the due dates are for the 16-week class because I was in kind of a hurry. But the assignments are all the same. The assignments are all the same. We have a memoir, which is under the narration. So we do have this memoir that we keep up with, that we have these 4 or 5 different stories that we write in our memoir. So that's our first is a memoir. And then we go into a narrative essay. The narrative essay is about the same as the memoir, only we need to format it like an essay. So your memoirs don't have to be formatted as an essay, but our narrative essay has to be formatted as an essay. And we go over that. I make a tutorial and all that goes over it. The main thing about your memoirs and your narrative essay is that they really are those core memories. That's why I have this video that I'll make ADA compliant here soon. But this core memories from Inside Out Link, we watched that. It's like 2 minutes long. I don't want I went to the beach this summer and had a lot of fun. That's not a core memory. It's not a memory that maybe, I mean, if it was, then it was, I mean, if it's just I had a lot of fun over the summer, but if it really was like it developed who you are, made you realize something about yourself, then yeah, then you need that to be but if it's not a core memory, I really want us to focus on. I know Riley's core memory where Joy is holding and hugging this memory, that was the first time she played hockey and kind of fell in love with hockey. So it doesn't have to be, you'll read some of my memoirs and my core memories are a little crazy, like when I started smoking at 9 years old or when, I have some crazy core memories. So they don't have to be like these big memories, but again, they need to be a little bit more than just, I once had a student write about when its pet turtle died. It was like this funny memory of this hawk swooped down and picked up his turtle and carried it off, but that's not really a core memory. It's just a funny story. Right, so that's what's really important. So that's our first block of narration. You have two main assignments there. And one of them is ongoing. Our memoir is ongoing throughout the entire semester. And then we get into the next block. We go into a literary analysis and we read Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Birthmark, right? And you write a literary analysis essay that only focuses on the story. We don't want to apply ourselves to it. It's in third person only, and we don't apply ourselves. We only analyze this work of literature. So this is all the ways that we talk about how to do it. And here's our terminology, literary devices, themes, tone. You do have moments where you can have a bonus opportunity. But anyway, so that's our block 2. We read and write about Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Birthmark. And then we go into block 3, which is the advertisement argument. And that's kind of a crazy essay, but a lot of students have fun writing this essay. And it seems hard at first, and they realize that it's not difficult at all. Really, it's where we take 2 forms of entertainment and we compare and contrast them, right? To talk about how they're similar and how they're different. It's a compare and contrast argument, meaning we are arguing how does a commercial use my stories to sell their product. But the 2 forms of entertainment, I mean, this commercial right here is very entertaining. It has actors, it has a storyline, has everything else that entertainment has, only it's to get us to buy a Ram truck, right? And so it's only get us to buy a Ram truck. And so we again, we just write a compare and contrast essay that has 3 different sources in that essay. So compare and contrast, compare a commercial and like a music video to talk about how the commercial uses us to sell their product, right? And then we get into the kind of dreaded presentation, right? We get into this dreaded presentation. And this is where I want to talk a little bit about myself. So, when I started school, no, I might just go there. I don't know if it moves with me. But to really help you understand, I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen again because I don't know how well it moves with me. But to get you to really understand uh, why I go into this academic identity and all that, I just want to show the beginning of this presentation because it kind of talks about, why I have so much personal experience and mass memoirs and all that. I don't know if it's really loud on your end because it does have music, so I'll pause it. So here's a little bit about myself. I first taught basic grammar and developmental English. I'm not going to go through this whole thing at all. You're more than welcome to watch it. This is a little bit about my family. This is where I come from. These are just kind of who I am. Not outside of class. It's just who I am. There's not me outside of class and me inside class. I'm still a mom even whenever I'm teaching, right? I'm still married to my husband even whenever I'm teaching. So this is, in a minute, I'm going to get into why we're doing a presentation. All right, so I'm an Oklahoman. I was born in Pauls Valley. I grew up mostly in Wynnewood. I went to high school in Paden. I have four siblings. I'm gonna pause it. There are five of us, so here's all of us. Here's us when we were little. There's three different dads, right? Here's my dad and my two whole siblings, even though I don't really think about, half siblings or anything. They're just my brother and sister. But my brother, these two right here are from different dads. And then we're from the same dad, right? We have a nice American family there. And then that's my dad, right? So I'm gonna go into a little bit. So here's what I really wanted to get into is, here's my grandmother. Think you probably can see. That's my sister Reagan and my sister Elena, and that's me whenever I was little. And then I think we're only missing my sister Elena in this picture, and there's me the other day. I liked this little tattoo, and so I kept it as my Facebook picture. Anyway, but I grew up really impoverished with a lot of drug abuse and alcohol abuse in my home. I graduated the bottom of my high school class. I worked at a grocery store till I realized I was replaceable. And I know whenever I first came to college, I was really intimidated by my instructors. That's why I have all these pictures of my kids and me to show I'm just a person. Look at my haircut. Anyway, but look at my sister Elena's. Why would they do that to her? But anyway, I again, I was really intimidated by my instructors. I thought I don't belong here, but I don't know what else to do. I'm really replaceable at the grocery store, and I want to do something a little bit more with my life. And so I came to college and I found that I love English and that I was a pretty decent writer and I loved to write. I absolutely love to write. And I've loved to write since I was really little. I just didn't realize I was academic. But anyway, and so I started tutoring for student support services, and teachers would actually walk their students over to me and say, "Hey, you need to go to Jamie. You need to go to Jamie." And so I started tutoring, and then as soon as I graduated East Central with a bachelor's degree, Seminole State, the chairman came over and said, "Hey, we'd like for you to start teaching some zero level classes for us, but you have to be working on a master's to do that." And I thought, a master's? I wasn't even going to go to college, more or less get a master's, because again, I had this mentality that like, there had my academic identity and then my other identity. And I tell you, I had this fear a lot in college of like, oh, they're going to find out that I'm not smart enough to be here, or they're going to find out that where I come from and yada, yada, yada. And a lot of my teachers had the same background. Like we all came from the same place. And so anyway, so I like for us to do this presentation to where I think that's all that I really wanted to show us. Okay, you're more than welcome to watch this video. It's under day one, start here. It'll be a little bit more under day one, start here in just a minute. I think it's about, yeah. That's that academic identity formation goes into it next. Yeah. So anyway, so we focus on the stories that make you who you are. Because I didn't realize that whenever I started smoking at 9 years old, that tells an amazing story of where I come from. It tells these amazing stories of what life and culture was like. I was from a different demographic, from a different culture, from a completely different place than, than I even realized or than a lot of other students. And I can relate to a lot of students. And anyway, I want to go back to content. So as we get down to, you share the screen again. So as we get down to the very end of the semester, this academic identity, I'd like for us to make a presentation. I'd like for us to make a presentation this last week or so of class. You make a presentation that just shows us who you are. So because I want you to see, it's really for you because I want you to have a picture of, I have 9 guinea pigs. So you holding your guinea pig or your cat or your pet turtle or whatever, and then right beside it has a thesis statement that you're really proud of. Because then you can see, or that picture of my grandma holding us, and then a thesis statement doesn't have to relate to it. Just as this, that this is who I am. This is where I came from. These are the stories that formed who I am, and this is who I am. And it's all academic. There is no academic identity and another identity. Like it's all the same thing. So when you see that in a presentation about yourself, you're able to kind of put those two things together. So that's how we end. So we have a narrative essay, a literary analysis essay, an argumentative essay, and then a presentation. And then throughout it, the whole thing, we're doing a memoir. We're writing some memoirs. That's it. The last thing I want to share is that if you would like to make, I don't think it's here because I didn't put it in here, but if you would like, it's on that presentation. If you would like to make a, if you'd like to make a junk journal, if you're on campus, close to campus, and you want to make a junk journal with us, I'm going to share that screen again. You're more than welcome to do and go to that. There we go. You're more than welcome to do a junk journal a lot like this. These are, of course, really pretty images from online. But here's some examples. I have all this. I even have a journal you can have. I bought like 100 journals from Amazon on that Amazon Prime Day. I got 100 journals for $45. It was amazing. That was after taxes, so it was absolutely amazing. But here's has a torn brown paper bag, some stickers, right, and a story going across here, and another maybe magazine clip here with the sticker there, anyway. So if you want to do something like this, instead of just turning it on online and you want to make a journal, you're more than welcome to grab a journal and some supplies with me. That's why my office is so messy because I always have so much junk that I share with students. Here's another one. This is just like a brown paper bag that they cut out and wrote their story on that and have pictures surrounding it. I thought that was really pretty. Here's a tuck space. That's an example. So one day we'll do a source story that you tuck away in your journal instead of having it open every time you open your journal. Right. So here's another with a picture and then a little bit just on a torn piece of paper and a little saying that they came up with, right? So anyway, so you don't have to, you can just write your stories and upload them to, um, I put my stories on the discussion board so everyone can see them, but I encourage students to turn your stories into assignments, not the discussion board. I always have students who post their stories on the discussion board and because they don't mind if other people read them, but you can put them in assignments instead of the discussion board. It's only on the discussion board so everybody can see it. And so I always have students who will post on the discussion board also. So you don't have to post on the discussion board. You can put them in assignments. Well, let me know if you need some help. But that's what we're doing this semester. We're jumping straight into writing in our memoirs, and then we'll go to a narrative essay, and then we'll go to memoirs to a narrative essay, and then to a argumentative essay, and then to a presentation. All right. So look at Brightspace just this week because after this week, I'm going to hide all those different modules. I don't want it open module by module. Let me see if I can. I don't like for you to be able to see everything. Let me share this page again. So I only want you to see. So when we're in block one narration, so after this week, you'll only be able to see week 1 and week 2. And then after week 2, I'll open up week 3, week 4. I think we're in that for 2 weeks. 3 weeks. So you'll only be able to see week 3, 2, 3, and 4, or 3 and 4. Yeah. Week 3 and 4, and then 5, 6, and 7, and then 8. And so I'm just gonna close those off block by block. But I'm keeping it open so you can kind of see what we're doing. I'm gonna clean a couple of things up in Brightspace, make sure it's a little bit more make sure it's more, person by, make sure it's a little bit more ADA compliant, able to navigate and put my better stories on the discussion board and get those prompts up and loaded. All right, so it's almost done. And let me know if you need some help with anything. Stop share.